evolution beyond UGC, beyond commenting, beyond retweeting, and it's about the power of individuals, the power of consumers to start these movements online. So today we want to recognize and celebrate that power, and that the power behind those movements is you, the consumer, the marketer, the individual, and the person who is bringing those things forward. So first, we're going to get a trends update from the publisher that leads us through the digital and social media news, which is Mashable. And then we'll hear from Rishad, who's really a pioneer of innovation in the digital space. And he's going to talk to us about the strength that we have as individuals to create those movements.
It's great to be here in Los Angeles. You know, when people think about Mashable, they often think San Francisco and New York, but Los Angeles has actually emerged as our #2 market in terms of where people are reading our site. Which I think really speaks to the impact that digital is having right now on entertainment and media and advertising, which is what I'm really here to talk about today, some of the trends that we're looking at as we move into 2012. So first off, the Mashable story. We started in 2005 as a one-person blog started by Pete Cashmore in Scotland in a bedroom at the age of 19. By 2006, Pete had grown the site to about 500,000 monthly unique visitors. Around 2008, about a year and a half after I had joined, we were up to around 2 million. And today, as of October, we're now doing 18.5 million unique visitors each month. As we've expanded our coverage to really focus on digital and social and its impact on everything from entertainment and media to the social good space to business and marketing. So one thing that's interesting as we've evolved has been where the traffic is coming from. If you look back to 2006, you see 65% of Mashable's traffic was coming from search engines. In 2008, that number down to about 58%, and down today to where it's at 43%. What's making up for that, of course, is social. So Mashable today has nearly 4 million followers across social sites. You can see there about 2.6 million on Twitter, 650,000 on Facebook, 180,000 on LinkedIn, and really spread across dozens of different social sites where people are consuming our news. I think the trend that's really interesting in here for television and increasingly for marketers is the rise of the second screen. So here's some data from Yahoo that came out recently that said 86% of consumers are using a second device while they're watching television. You can see 33% of them are using mobile apps, 37% are browsing the internet, 40% are social networking. So when you have all that activity going on while people are watching television, I think it really creates a lot of new opportunities for marketers to interact with their audience in new ways. And we're already seeing some really interesting experiments there. So here's something that USA Networks launched recently, their own second screen companion app powered by a startup that's actually based here in Los Angeles, Yap TV. So you can look at the various shows on USA, get more information about them, interact with the characters on Twitter. They've actually done a couple live tweeting events where they have actors from the show providing commentary while that show's airing. And what this means for advertisers, we're just starting to scratch the surface. So within the last couple of weeks, Yumi actually announced, Yumi, the video advertising network, that they had teamed up with LG to essentially power advertising on LG's connected TVs with Toyota as the charter sponsor. So you can see here where you're navigating content and apps on your television, it's accompanied by an ad for Toyota. And what's super interesting here is it means that the same type of targeting that now exists online, the ability to target people based on their social graph and their interests and their influence, is going to extend to the television.
How do we keep abreast of all the change that's happening? Since there is so much change that tends to happen. And any given day, if we aren't watching, we get surprised. When something turns digital, it's like hydrochloric acid. It burns across boundaries. So that's the second thought to keep in mind, which is there is increasingly going to be very hard to define the difference between content and contact, between media and creative, between what you are supposed to do and what somebody else is supposed to do, because that's the way the digital world works. Increasingly, in the digital world, there is nothing like mass media. There is no mass media in the digital world because mass media means you've got millions of people watching something at one time or reading something at one time. That does not actually exist in the digital world. People come to media one at a time. They go to the Yahoo homepage, they go wherever. They go to Facebook one at a time. It's not like television, where people have a 90% likelihood if they aren't going to the bathroom to see what's going on an ad in Desperate Housewives or whatever. They have a very good likelihood in the course of a week that 80 to 90% of the people who read a weekly have a chance to see the ad. No, this is one at a time. So if you wanted to reach everybody who arrives at the Yahoo homepage with one of their takeovers, in effect, it actually costs more than a Super Bowl commercial, because you're paying a lot for frequency in order to get all the reach that you want in a particular day. And so the key thing is traditional marketing, which still is going to be very big, is about segmentation, taking large audiences and making them into small audiences. So it's like starting with a cow and getting to a steak. So the individual is intensely, intensely powerful. And I believe the key trend to keep in mind here is that we are marketing to the gods. That we are no longer marketing to consumers. We are marketing to people, but I think we're marketing to the gods, which is all of us when we are at home or wherever we are have godlike power. And I'm going to give you two simple examples of godlike power. People basically want to conquer two things more than anything else. They want to conquer the ability to conquer time and distance. And they love people who can let them conquer time and distance, because we want to live forever and we want to be at all places at the same time. That's a human need. Think about what you can do today with any smartphone, whether it be an Android, RIM, Microsoft, Apple. And describe what you do to someone 7, 8 years ago. You'd say, I have in my palm of my hand something that allows me to do the following. It allows me to listen to more music than exists in most music stores. It allows me to access this thing called the World Wide Web. It guides me where I need to go. With the new, Apple iPhone 4S, I have a personal assistant. I can search for anything that I want. I have an alarm clock in it. You have godlike power. Think about what you can do with the Google search engine. And by the way, that now happens to be on this little phone. Plus, you can take photographs. And then when things get really hard, you can play Angry Birds. And that's very important. We are marketing to the gods. Now, you don't normally see this in most vision statements that our clients have, or in most mission statements that our agencies have, or in most selling statements that the media industry has. We use words like, we will empower our consumer. I have news for people. They're already empowered. Just get used to the fact that you have to align with their empowerment. You're not giving them any empowerment. They already are empowered. So that's total BS, right? So when I see all these vision statements, my first thing to senior management is just tear it up. It's no longer relevant. So that's a very important thing to sort of keep in mind, okay? But the other thing to keep in mind is, who the hell are we talking about? When we talk about target audiences and you understand how the target audience behaves, most of those descriptions make no sense. I simply turn around to the room and say, do you behave like that? They said, no, we don't behave like that. So I said, why do you, when you enter the office, leave half your brains downstairs and come upstairs and behave like an idiot? And the truth of the matter is, our clients, ourselves, our media partners, all of us basically behave like idiots. And we should stop it, because it's not necessarily going to be particularly conducive to where the world is going to go, because we are talking to highly, highly empowered people. And that is the thing to keep in mind.
Thank you so much, Rishad. I'm totally motivated right now to go out and do something different, to reinvent myself. I encourage you all to remember that you have God-like inordinate power. I want to thank our sponsors, our speakers, and all of you for coming today, and I hope to see you at an upcoming thinkLA event. Thanks.